What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode on my channel. As always, I'm Jay, and today, guys, in the spirit of the holidays, I decided I was going to cobble together a list of different films that are holiday related that I really enjoyed and watch to get into the holiday spirit, because it is the season of giving, and it's a nice season in which you can just sit back, relax with some family, and it wouldn't hurt to kick back and enjoy a few films. Mind you, some of these aren't always appropriate depending on the age group. However, these are all equally good films and films that I highly recommend watching at some point or another during the Christmas season. So without further ado, here are some of my picks for favorite holiday films. Starting at number 10 is Office Christmas Party. T.J. Miller and Jason Bateman, along with a slew of other comedic actors, knock it out of the park with this great film. A lot of irreverent comedy, a lot of random hijinks and shenanigans, definitely worth your while. It actually followed the success of Night Before, which is also on my list a little bit higher, but it definitely is in the same vein of that and some very gross out comedies along the lines of Seth Rogen films and whatnot. So if you're into that type of comedy, I highly recommend this pick for you guys. At number 9 is one of my personal favorites, and very much so a guilty pleasure, is Arnold Schwarzenegger's Jingle All the Way. Now, I know the film's not really that funny or good, and this is during the stint where Arnold wanted to branch out and do different types of films. Plus, it's around the time where Arnold also had the terrible misfortune or benefit, depending on how you're looking at it, of being Mr. Freeze in the Batman films. Plus, Jake Lloyd was in it. Young Annie from the Phantom Menace, which a lot of people hated him for that, but this was when he still had promise, I guess. No, I'm joking, of course, but I don't know what it is about this film, but it's something about grown-ass men trying to hunt for specific toys that really speaks to me. And I wonder if that's because I ended up collecting a lot of figures and whatnot, especially now when I'm collecting high-end collectibles. Yeah. Moving on. At number 8, we have Scrooged, starring Bill Murray. It's a modern take on the whole Christmas Carol version of film and everything like that, where this man who's kind of a high-powered, very rich man and kind of a bah humbug, if you will, is haunted by 3 different spirits: the ghost of Christmas past, the ghost of Christmas future, and the ghost of Christmas present and whatnot, respectively. And, you know, this one kind of had a nice, funny twist on it because, A, it's Bill Murray, and B, it's got that 80s cheese that you're kind of craving for. So it's definitely awesome in that respect. And, you know, I feel like it was kind of believable, personally. And I really liked the different take that they did on the Christmas Carol story. Because, I mean, we've seen it a billion times with Ebenezer Scrooge and, you know, Tiny Tim and the whole nine. So it was nice and refreshing to see this kind of have a more adult and irreverent take on it. And it's definitely a must-watch during the holidays, in my opinion. At number 7, The Grinch. Of course, I'm saying The Grinch, meaning the actual Dr. Seuss animated short, but also the film. I feel like the film is very underrated, and Jim Carrey is having a blast with the role. And honestly, it's one of those things where they took an adapted short story and ended up making it larger and adding some kind of new depth and kind of, behind-the-scenes stuff with it. It's not by any means Oscar-worthy or an amazing film, but it looks cool, and I think that there was a lot to be had as far as fun in it. And it's definitely one of those kid-friendly videos that you would want to break out with during Christmas, and definitely has a lot of laughs and whatnot, for sure. So, The Grinch, whether it's the cartoon version or the full-length Ron Howard version, is definitely a must for the holidays. At number 6, we have the only superhero movie to date, aside from Iron Man 3, that has ever done anything Christmas-related, at least to my knowledge, Batman Returns. The first to do it, and you know what? It's Tim Burton's second Batman, where he kind of went off the rails, but more into his impressionist style, if you want to call it that. Definitely darker than your average Christmas film, and I would not really recommend watching it if you're looking for something to pick you up and have a good moral story, especially when you got people who are looking like penguins deformed and actually biting people's noses so that they're gushing blood. But overall, it is technically a Christmas film, and I definitely recommend that if you're looking to watch anything related to Yuletide seasons. At number 5, we have one that's definitely a favorite, and it's kind of a cheat because it can work for Halloween or Christmas, is The Nightmare Before Christmas. Tim Burton production definitely oozes Tim Burton's artistic style. Definitely a classic. It was a Disney film, Touchstone, which is a branch off of Disney, as I later found out. Definitely inventive, definitely a little macabre, and definitely has a little bit of heart and innocence to it that not many movies with this type of subject matter can really pull off. It's always been one of my favorites, whether it was because of the visual style or of the claymation and the stop motion. And it's definitely one of those films that works even today because it could pass for 3D imagery, but even though it was actually done all physically, which is, kudos to the animators, it still holds up today and it still looks a lot better than some of these modern films. But overall, guys, definitely recommend The Nightmare Before Christmas. At number 4, we have The Night Before, starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Anthony Mackie, and of course Seth Rogen. One of the best laugh-out-loud comedies I've watched in a long time. Definitely one of the funniest films that I've watched. Definitely covers all the bases as far as the holiday shenanigans and hijinks that people can go on. A lot of immature, awesome jokes. You got Seth Rogen, who is one of the masters of modern comedy. Joseph Gordon-Levitt turns in an awesome performance in this comedic role, which I didn't think was going to happen. Anthony Mackie does as well, and it's just a blast and a fun ride. And then there's there's one of the best cameos or supporting actor roles in Michael Shannon. And that's all I'm going to say. If you haven't seen the film, watch it. It is rated R, and it's not for kids, though, for sure. So definitely watch it if you're at an adult populated Christmas party. Definitely going to get a lot of laughs, definitely a lot of gross out humor, and well worth your time. Number 3, we have Home Alone 1 and 2. Yes, the first two Home Alone films starring Macaulay Culkin before the whole straight-to-VHS DVD bullshit set in. 3, 4, and 5 I do not recognize, even though I watched 3 and enjoyed it when I was a little kid. 1 and 2 have always stuck with me, and I don't know what it is. It's just like they've got that kind of magic to them that you have to watch one and the other, and it's kind of like, I don't know, it's one of those holiday films that never goes out of style, despite the fact that, you watch it and the second one is kind of the same premise and it's kind of a little off-kilter because it's like, okay, we understand them forgetting him one time and whatnot, but the second one, even though it is kind of a deviation and they technically didn't forget him, he took a different flight by accident, you would think that he would have better parents by now, but it still makes for some pretty nice holiday films. And they're both set in Christmas time, which is just, you can have double the fun. You can have your cake and eat it too in this regard. So definitely recommend Home Alone 1 and 2 for holiday films. And at number 2, I had to throw one of these in there at least, but the old-fashioned, old stop-motion claymation films with Santa and whatnot. One of my personal favorites is Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Mickey Rooney is Santa, of course, and the voices, are on point. The way that the, puppets and, figures were done was very well done. It's one of those reasons why Nightmare Before Christmas worked so well is because it's withstood the test of time, and it's kind of a timeless art form. Definitely one of my favorites. I think the song selection and the story content is a lot more solid than the other ones. I know it's weird to say because they're all kind of along the same thing, but who doesn't like Santa Claus is Coming to Town? I mean, come on now. That's one of the classics. You get to watch it every year. If you're not watching at least one of those films along the lines of Santa Claus is Coming to Town, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, or Frosty the Snowman, what the hell's wrong with you? That's all I have to say about that. And at number 1, we have one of my personal favorites, which people quite honestly forget that it is a Christmas film and its direct sequel, Die Hard. It's not Christmas time, it's not holiday time, it's not that time of the year unless you're seeing John McClane, blast some fools and see Hans Gruber falling from Nakatomi Plaza. I stand by that statement. You can argue me, you can debate it with me, but that's my stance on it. So that's definitely my top pick for this set of holiday films. Alright guys, well that's all the time that I have for today's video. I hope I tuned you guys onto some awesome holiday videos. If you're not in the spirit, get in the spirit because it's coming and you can't stop it. Especially when it's showing up in October, where there's one section of the aisle that has Halloween decorations, and they've ignored Thanksgiving completely by putting up the Christmas decorations right there. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoy your Christmas or holidays that you celebrate. Hoping you and your family have a happy and a healthy. And until next time, guys, take care. Bye.